Manchester United kick off their preseason campaign, 25-26 preseason campaign, with high-stakes clash against a historic rival in Leeds United. This game happens in the next few hours at the Strawberry Arena in Stockholm. Now, following a season to forget, one that ended in a Europa League final defeat and heartbreak and a woeful 15th place finish in the league last season, Premier League last season, this game marks the beginning of a vital rebuild under head coach Rúben Amorim for Manchester United. For Leeds, it's just a chance to sharpen up after securing a sensational return to the Premier League. Now, the stakes might be lower or on paper, basically, but both teams are eager to build momentum and test new signings. The intensity is also guaranteed. Now, basically, Leeds under Daniel Farke, who has been around so many clubs in the Premier League, helping them promote and also relegating with them and all of that, have been very unique. Daniel Farke, I think, coached Borussia Dortmund at some point too as well. And then, obviously, the exciting part of this game is the fact that we get to watch Matheus Cunha again, right, for the first time. But yeah, it's a game that, Manchester United doesn't take for granted. Basically, this is one of six preseason friendlies we have to play between now and August before the Premier League game starts. So Rúben Amorim's side basically will take the preseason to, after meeting in Stockholm, they will now take it to Old Trafford to finish up 9th of August, just 8 days before welcome Arsenal to the opening weekend of the 25-26 Premier League campaign. We're here to kind of bring you basically what we think about each game, what we think about the game. It's going to take place at Stockholm Arena. And obviously, we expect that Manchester United will turn up. Manchester United will attempt to try to win the game and all of that and test out all the things that we've been working on in the training ground. And with regards to form, United come into this fixture with more questions than answers. Basically, after a disastrous 2024-25 campaign, the mood around the club has been one of cautious optimism. Basically, Rúben Amorim spoke 2 days ago, promising the fans that he would give his best, for the club to basically achieve greater heights, and the fact that he's going to give everything to ensure that the club is on its path to success, right? And obviously, preseason offers a clean slate and a platform to embed Amorim's tactical ideas. So this with regards to form and context, right? And on the other hand, return to the top flight with confidence after a 100-point season in the championship, and that is for Leeds, right? Daniel Farke's men are focused on building rhythm and chemistry, especially with several key players and new additions integrated into their setup. And with regards to head-to-head, the Man United versus Leeds rivalry stretches back generations and is steeped in English football history. While recent encounters in the Premier League have largely favoured Manchester United, Leeds have shown that on their day, they can cause United problems with their directness and work rate. And their last preseason clash, if any, was far less significant than this summer showdown, where both teams are in transition and eager to set the tone, basically. So looking at that, it's very we're not going to kind of try to go into details, but Manchester United fans, we as Manchester United fans, do not like Leeds at all. So and basically, if we're to go with how Leeds play, Daniel Farke's Leeds are built around a structured possession play with quick transitions and an emphasis on vertical passing. In the championship, they excelled with wide overloads, overlapping fullbacks, relentless pressing high up the pitch. With new signings, with new signings now like Jacabiol and Lucas Mecha, added to the spine of the team, we expect Leeds to adopt an aggressive shape, maintaining a mid to high block and capitalizing on second balls. Now, the wide players will be key in stretching Leeds' backline, while the midfield trio of Tanaka, Greve, and Aronson will aim to disrupt United's rhythm. And to think about it, how Leeds play, and just to match it with what Manchester United intends to achieve with this game, it's good to test out the high stakes game more like a Premier League team, and to kind of build from there, and so that we can kind of get a sense of an idea what we're expecting from them. So them pressing, we can learn, okay, mid to low block plus high pressing, high octane football. Then we can know how we can try to control the game. As Man United, as we are building and rebuilding and transitioning as well into a new session or a new phase in all things that we do with the club. So yeah, and obviously Manchester United is expected to hand debuts to new players, including Matheus Cunha following his arrival from Wolves, and also this should also be the first year. There should also be a first year Devils appearance for Diego Leon. We're going to go to predicted starting lineup pretty soon, but with regards to how Manchester United play, Manchester United, Rúben Amorim's side are a work in progress, obviously, and this match will offer a first real glimpse of his tactical influence. So we expect, as usual, a 3-4-3 formation or a 3-4-3 system with emphasis on wing back width, vertical pressing, and high press out of possession. Now, Amorim is likely to experiment, especially in attack, where new signing Matheus Cunha could slot in behind Rasmus Højlund in the dual 10 role. And then the back three may have younger players like Lenny Yoro. We could have young players like even Aiden Heaven as well. Well, we'll see my starting lineup, but we're flanked by probably Matheus de Ligt, or most likely have players like maybe even Harry Maguire coming back and stand lineup. And then eventually in the second half, we're going to have a mix of maybe Godi Kukonki and the rest, because if you look at the 29-man squad that Manchester United travelled with, let's touch on that a little bit. The 29-man squad that Manchester United travelled with, we could tell from the Manchester United website, 29-man squad that Manchester United travelled with. For goalkeepers, we have Altaba there, Tom Heaton, and Demotmi. Rede Vitek did not travel for this one. Defenders, we have Diego Dalot, Nus Mazraoui, Matheus de Ligt, Harry Maguire, Patrick Chinezepo, Dogu, Lenny Yoro, Luke Shaw, Aiden Heaven, Diego Leon, Tyler Fredrickson, Rhys Monroe, and Godi Kukonki. And then for midfield, we have Mason Mount, Bruno Fernandes, Casemiro, Manuel Gatti, Kobbie Mainoo, Jack Fletcher, Sekou Kone, and Toby Collier. And then for forwards, we have Rasmus Højlund, Matheus Cunha, we have Ahmad, we have Chido Obi, Ethan Williams, who I want to see play, and then Bendito Mantato, another player who I want to see as well play. So it all depends on how Manchester United wants to approach the game. And then if we're going to go to so I can't predict the lineup for Leeds because I haven't they still signed new players recently. So I'm going to focus on Lucas on the key player to watch, and obviously we're going to focus on a new player who they just signed, and that's in the person of Lucas Mecha, 26-year-old German international who they just signed from Wolfsburg. And he seems to be a good striker, average, doesn't score so many goals. He came from the famed Manchester City Academy. From Manchester City Academy with his brother Felix Mecha. Felix Mecha plays for Borussia Dortmund, his younger brother. Then Lucas, plays for Wolfsburg. He's gone around a little bit, played around certain clubs a little bit, but it is what it is. And so that's key player to watch. No, he hasn't played any game for Leeds as to say, okay, I can tell you. He's played in Bundesliga the last time, and last game at the Bundesliga he scored. So he's a player to watch because obviously they're going to try to probably start him or test out his metal and all of that. So yeah, and then if we're going to go for predicted lineup for Manchester United, because I can't predict the lineup for Leeds, but predicted lineup people that I expect to start for this game, and I had to think deep about this, but it could be shuffled. So this is just a wild guess, right? So for predicted lineup for Manchester United, we're going to go with Altaba in net. And then obviously the experienced Harry Maguire in defense, and then Lenny Yoro on the right, and Edin Heaven on the left of centre back. And then we have Bruno Fernandes and Manuel Gatti playing in mid. Looks like a pretty strong lineup. And then Patrick Dogu playing on the left, and Nuzema Masharawi playing on the right of the wing backs. And then he might start Dalo, you never know, or he might play 2 different lineups or 3 different lineups. We can all know in that squad. And then Matheus Cunha up top as one of the 210s with Ahmad. So with Ahmad, we get a sense of what to expect when we play with Brian Mbumo. And then up top as striker, we have Rasmus Højlund. So, and then we could change it to the Obi, depends. We could just mess around with the whole starting lineup. Probably even take off Bruno Fernandes and all of that and bring in Kobbie Mainoo. And then key player to watch for Manchester United, because his new signing is probably going to get a start, will be Matheus Cunha. So 26-year-old Brazilian international. The last 2 games he played were for Brazil, and the last 2 games he played in the Premier League were for Wolves against Brentford and Crystal Palace. And then in that game they drew and lost, so it is what it is. And he helped Brazil qualify for the World Cup, and he hasn't played much. We're only going to go by the stats he had last season and all of that. So it's a good thing to see. Another player, before we get to the second key player I have in mind, we have a player who formerly played for Manchester United. His name is Dan James, formerly of Manchester United, in line to feature against the Red Devils in this one. And Mecha is also expected to be involved, as I said earlier. But Dan James is definitely going to make it for this one. The pacey winger we had that most people are now doing revisionism, say, oh, why did we let him go? So another key player to watch for Manchester United in this one is Ahmad, one of the 210s as well, 23-year-old Ivorian international. Played in the last 2 friendlies. We played 44 minutes in one and 44 minutes in the other, and scored in the game against Aston Villa. So Amad Diallo gets a nod for this one, and he's one player to watch to see how he fits in that number 10 role. And maybe if Amorim will switch him to a wing back role, never can tell. But all we can see is that kind of just helps build a squad. We're building a squad with players who are ready to fit in and slot in when the need arises. And there's going to be a lot of games to go around for everybody. So let me know some feelings about this one. But let me just talk about what Manchester United can do to win. Now, even if it's a preseason fixture, United will need structure, composure, and intensity. Pressing as a unit will be very crucial to avoid being overrun by Leeds. Leeds' aggressive central runners. Defensive positioning, particularly from the wide area, wide centre backs and wing backs, must be disciplined to handle Leeds overloads. Right? Offensively, quick ball progression and smart link up between the front 3 will also help exploit the spaces that Leeds leave when pressing. Now, set pieces could also be a key weapon, especially with players like Matheus Cunha and Bruno Fernandes capable of delivering quality crosses. Now, to sum this whole thing all up and all of that, we're going to ask, what's your predicted scoreline for this? I'll just think it's because it's it's going to be heavy rotations back and forth. Predicted scoreline is definitely going to be for me 2-0. I expect Man United to win 2-0. If we score more, all the better. We get to see goal scorers like Matheus Cunha come in and score goals and stuff. So let me know your thoughts and feelings about this one. And then to sum this all up, it may only be a preseason opener, but for Manchester United, this is more than just fitness and minutes. It's a signal of intent, right? A chance to reset and to perform and to build belief, from a humiliating season campaign or humiliating season in the Premier League last season. And then obviously Leeds arrive with confidence and cohesion, but United's individual quality and Amorim's tactical blueprint will be under the spotlight. With new faces like Matheus Cunha and Diogo Leon likely to debut, and with the squad still in flux, right? This is United's first audition for a season that simply has to be better. So let me know what you think about this. Let me know your predicted lineup and also your predicted scoreline. let's start to build from here and start taking it to the next level. And I believe that Manchester United are going to win this one. So it's going to happen in the next couple of hours. So I just thought to do a match preview so that we can actually get going with preseason and everything. So let me know your thoughts and feelings in the comment section. And thank you for liking, sharing, and subscribing. We keep growing, we keep building, and I don't take it for granted. I will see you in the next one. Take care. Goodbye. Oh, actually, I'll see you after the game. So take care. Goodbye, and God bless.